6. Amy Adams.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. How did the government's tax package in October contribute to increasing New Zealanders' real after-tax earnings?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr. Speaker, figures recently released by the Department of Statistics show that real after-tax average earnings in New Zealand increased 3% in the December quarter, reflecting the benefits of the government's tax package and ongoing wage increases. The tax cuts more than compensated for the rise in GST at every level of income, which is why the vast majority of New Zealanders were better off as a result of the tax switch.
Amy Adams.
Supplementary question to the Minister. How have real after-tax wages grown since October 2008?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr. Speaker, if you use the measure of wages that is used for calculating national superannuation, and has been used in that way now for quite some time, real after-tax earnings have grown 10% since October 2008. Prices have gone up by 6% over that time, while after-tax wages, that is after tax reductions, have risen by 16%. 3 rounds of tax cuts combined with the normal annual movements in wages. This is a big improvement. 10% since 2008 is a big improvement on the 4% growth in real after-tax wages during the previous 9 years.
Amy Adams.
Supplementary to the Minister. How are the figures on real after-tax wages calculated?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr. Speaker, the figures used are data on average weekly ordinary time earnings from the Statistics New Zealand Quarterly Employment Survey issued last New Zealand Super. Now, Mr. Speaker, households don't do that calculation when they're out shopping. We understand the pressure that is on households, but we are determined to continue with economic policy that is going to support them by lifting their real after-tax wages.
Stuart Nash.
Mr. Speaker, to the Minister, does he agree that inequality in New Zealand has increased due to tax cuts where someone earning $1 million a year received a tax cut of $930 a week, yet someone on the median wage received about $15 a week? And if not, why not?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, the Labor Party need to decide on its numbers, but that's not unusual. Mr. Speaker, when the government released the tax changes in the last budget, it published a number of different measures of income equality, including Gini coefficients and other measures, all of which showed that the impact was roughly equal across the income distribution, taking into account all of the tax changes. And as I recall it, no one in the opposition questioned any of that substantial analysis.
Amy Adams. Order. I've called Amy Adams.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Supplementary. Has the Minister seen any reports on why real after-tax wages grew so slowly in the 9 years to October 2008?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I could sum up those reports as saying bad policy, because under the previous government, in what was the most benign economic decade in probably about 50 years, they managed to achieve negative real per capita income growth. That is, real per capita incomes shrank, and where people did get new jobs, they were funded by debt and were unsustainable. So people who relied on the Labor government in the belief their incomes were going up have now been let down, and we have to rebuild incomes and rebuild those families' prospects.
Question number 7, the Honourable David Cunliffe.